Hi everybody, welcome to DemonSword episode 5. I want to point out there is a Facebook page as well as my website, and email is available on the website. So, if you need help, feel free to ask, I'm here to help. Now, we're going to start the anime quiz song. I'm going to lower the volume so you guys can hear it. Okay, today we're going to discuss metal types. What blade types are available? How best are they forged? What are good heat treatments for them? Okay, one of the more popular ones as a new sword person you'll start out with is 1040, 1060, or 1090. Now 1040 is very light metal, and as a beginning blade, it's perfect. Because you're not expecting to cut through wood or something crazy. It's a soft metal, very flexible, and you know, it works very well. There's 1060 metal, is a more common one in dojos, as its edge type and the whole structure allows the blade to be very flexible, yet it has a harder edge than 1040, so you can hit harder targets. And 1090 is basically the top of those three. It's going to have an extremely hard edge, but it's not going to be as flexible as the other two, so you won't be able to bend. Those are for probably really hard targets that you're having issues with. Now, where do 1060, 1040, 1090, all these come from? It's a tool steel variation. One of the more popular ones is T10, and they just burn off the extra carbons, and create the structure of the blade that way. So they'll basically buy metals from a manufacturer, bring them into the shop, heat them up, forge them out, and then usually with 1040 and 1060, the best structure I've seen is differential heat treatment on 1060, and 1040 you just want to do a normal heat treatment because you're not looking for an extremely hard edge. Now, when you heat treat the blade, usually it's a block, about the same thickness as these blades normally are widthwise. You then heat treat them out by having the heat blast them on the outside, which is softening the outer edges of the metal, the outside layers of the material. The inside, however, is going to remain dense and hard. So after the heat treatment's done, you then grind off the edges of the block to create the points of, the edge point of the blade here. Differential heat treatment creates basically a false lamination. You've got basically hard to soft structure on the blade, which is the best characteristics. You want a hard inner core on these blades with a soft outside, which allows it to fix itself. Like you hit something, it bends, it straightens out. Now, 1090 is different. 1095, 1090 is usually done with T10 tool steel specifically. And they will basically take the blade and clay temper it. Differential heat treatment doesn't yield any better benefits. Clay tempering differential structures all over the blade, leaving an extremely hard edge on the outside, will create the blade's unique characteristics all along the upper side and on the middle. See, like this waveform, usually you would lay the clay around there, so it creates a more natural Haman forge path. But what does that do for you? It softens the clay, softens the outer edges to be soft. Softens the outer edges to be soft. No duh. I need more coffee. The blade's outer structure where the clay is laid is softened and to a soft and medium degree. This creates the flexibility of the 1060 we like, but with the extreme hard edge of the 1090, 1095. So, better blade, better structure, better characteristics that you want. Now, let's look at folded steel. Folded steel was the original and traditional method, and by the way, the Rhine sword is folded steel. It is not really Damascus, I just want to point that out. Do you hear that singing? That's actually proper folded steel. I was rather impressed with the sound. This is the spring steel. This is a laminated blade, so there are 3 interlocking structures on this Sanmai technique, which cancels out vibration, which means it can take more impact damage, which I like. Folded steel. What does folded steel yield us? The resonance of the blade, which this blade, congrats subscriber, it's now named Zonkyo no Terra, but I'm going to call it Zonkyo, which means resonance. Congrats to our subscriber who named it. I will hopefully one day start offering prizes and rewards for doing these. The next blade is Phoenix, but I may allow a naming of that. Anyway, folded steel, when the Japanese smiths started working with metal, they had very impure metal types of iron, and mixing carbon in it creates steel, as we know. The iron wasn't as pure though, it was very low quality. So to make it higher quality, they kept folding and forging the metal out to get all the impurities, folding, forging, folding, hammering, folding, forging, you know. This creates a great structure in the metal. Now, one of the best types of Japanese steel that's out there is called Tamahage steel. It is ridiculously strong and flexible, and it's usually very expensive, so most people can't afford it. Folded steel gives you flexibility and hardness throughout the blade. Damascus metal, which originated in Turkey, yields 3 metal types: soft, medium, and hard, and merges them together, kind of like you would see on a wood plank, you know, those grains, those waves you see in the wood. That's what Damascus really looks like, but it's soft, hard, medium. Now, there are a lot of these chemically treated blades that make black with orange. By the way, that's a copper injection into it. It's just how they chemically treat it to look nice. That will not be permanent on the blade, I'm sorry. Because, as I already found out on this Ryan sword, starting to edge it, it is chemically treated. It's not really black. It's actually just like the Higo if I started cleaning it up. Nice and silvery. Okay. So folded steel is good. We went to the more common metal, like 1040, there it is, 1040, 1060, 1090. Because it's easier to produce a higher quality blade and have a better quality control, by which the blades all are the same. Each blade should work the same way. I mean, you can keep the quality output going. You can make a lot of blades that work really good, basically. And you don't have to worry about the blade shattering. When you do folded steel, there's a chance the blade, or even Damascus especially, there's a chance the blade could be brittle in certain areas, and that creates something called a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw is when the characteristics of the metal has exceeded its yield point of tensile strength, and it will snap, break, bend, whatever. You have overexerted that point on the material. So what's spring steel? That's the final metal I've been saying a lot lately. Where's that coffee? Someone give DemonSword some Starbucks or something. Higo here is a laminated of 1040, and an edge of spring steel. We do have a spring steel blade coming in. That is our first donation blade. It is called a Phoenix blade. You'll see why when it comes in. Where did spring steel originate? Car shocks. Yeah. You know, like on those big heavy big rigs or earth movers, the shocks on those are an alloy called 9260 or whatever, 9260 spring steel. And it's actually called spring steel silica alloy, by which they add silicon, which is something used in computer chips. If you know, you probably already know this, but I'm just naming it off. Why is spring steel good? Spring steel is best because, in a lot of ways, because it holds an edge, it's extremely flexible, it's extremely durable. Do not clay temper spring steel. It ruins the structure. Do not differentially heat treat it. That ruins the structure. You actually want the same structure throughout the blade as spring steel. It has to do with the silicon in the molecules. The way it arranges creates a really good structure if they're all heat treated correctly. Spring steel holds a better edge than most of the other metal types. And, you know, you can pretty much chop anything you want. It's actually softer than 1090, I would say, technically, but it will do the job about the same. You just want to heat it the same amount. You want the structure to be identical throughout the blade, like on Higo. The entire edge is heated the exact same way, which makes it very durable. Okay, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys learned something. DemonSword.